Rohit's not captain. Dhoni's not captain. Gambhir has left the IPL. We need some headline-making stories for the IPL. It's getting a bit cold, dare I say.
It's retention season and there are so many decisions to be taken for all the IPL franchises, so much thinking, so much plotting. We are zeroing in on the most talked about franchise and the most talked about player because, well, what else works as a better idea for a video? And the question we're asking on ESPN Cricinfo Runorder, should Virat Kohli be RCB captain again? Got our whole cast and crew here, Nagraj, Dustin, Shashank, Ronak, Varun. Varun, as RCB fan, I want to give you first strike on this. Is that a reunion you are hoping for?
No. Both on the cricket and the sort of Kohli's character arc over the last few years. First of all, batting-wise, I think we're finally back to seeing him at his best. And that's post-captaincy, I mean. And I honestly just want to see a little more of that. I think being free from the constant pressure that is being Kohli and also being RCB captain, being freed from that has really sort of helped his game come along. He had a great season last year. On the other hand, I don't even know if right now the person that Kohli is, it just comes across as he's someone who's sort of achieving that, self-actualization phase in that pyramid. I just don't think he would be the same captain if he came back, one. And two, I don't think he would necessarily even want to be captain. He's spoken a lot about seeing the larger perspective in life over the last few years. He's talked about being humble, to the occasion of a World Cup final, things like that.
I didn't know this was an opinion you're allowed to have as a Bengaluru resident, but okay, that's an unexpected.
What I'm thinking, RCB fan thinking that at least he'll bat for this and then we could add more.
Talking like a Kohli fan, more like a Kohli fan than RCB.
To be honest,
And Bangalore, Kohli is RCB, so.
but I'm going to pick Varun's reasons and give the exact opposite answer, that I think he should be captain for all the reasons Varun actually said. He's at a stage of his life where I think he'll be an even better captain. And if I go to the start of the story, I just think it's going back to what should have always been the case. I think it wasn't great the way his captaincy career came to an end for India. And I was very surprised that it extended to the IPL. For one, I thought that would never come into question, and it was at Kohli's behest, where you saw an emotional video where he said, I'll play for RCB till my last days, but I'm stepping down as captain. And I get it, maybe at that time that personal space demanded it, but this should always have been the case. You need an Indian, you should always go for an Indian captain. There's an even greater dearth for overseas captains now than there was, say, 3 or 4 years back. You're not going to get Pat Cummins and Joss Butler coming into the auction. So this makes complete sense. Faf has done a great job in that period in the middle, but I think you'll see a better Kohli as captain. The brand certainly, it can't go any lower, but it can even go higher. And for me, Kohli should be captain. Simple. I still think that Faf's performance has been he's over-exceeded, he's overachieved, but as good as he was, it kind of limited their options to use their squad to their best. So I still think the right approach would be, you have a candidate screaming out and you do have it in Kohli, go that way. And not only Kohli, they should look for an Indian viable option over this 3-year cycle. But I'm saying Kohli's the best bet right now.
The popular reasoning against Faf is age is not that much, but more like, do you want to spend that amount of retention amount, whatever it would be, on Faf, rather than having someone like Kohli, who's a ready-made captain, already done that, been there, doesn't need to he knows players, knows it, and trust him and respect him or whatever. So all that he fits, he ticks all those marks, so why not go for Kohli is the question. But for me, I think personally, I feel like RCB really dug their grave by not future-proofing long back. They never kind of invested in Indian players, and now they're paying the price. When Kohli left in 2021, in that video which Ronak spoke about, if you remember the line that he used, which stood out for me was like, this is a haul, just a haul, not the end of the journey. the journey will continue. So in this, he will be, if he ever watches this, and I hope that he will end up watching at some point, he'll be laughing and saying, look, again, I'm providing material for all these platforms to not only use my name and build their brand. I feel that they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. The only choice is, do they retain Faf? If they retain Faf, then for me, Faf is the captain.
Important to state that we are recording this before the retention rules are known. But you'd imagine there is no world where you're allowed to retain more than 3 overseas players, and that too might be a stretch. Retaining Faf to Plessis means letting go of at least one, if not more, out of Cam Green, Will Jacks, Glenn Maxwell.
Well, the only things certain in life are death, taxes, and RCB being a laughing stock at the auction. So no matter what we do, no matter who they pick as captain, who they don't, they'll still probably go into the auction and make a mistake. So I fully expect them to release Faf because they think that the budget is going to not fit in, and they'd rather save that money for someone else. I fully expect that to happen. But jokes apart, knowing if Kohli is open to captaining again can potentially kind of help in their auction planning and strategy. Knowing that they have somebody already in the bank makes a massive difference when they go, and they're not really searching for somebody to come and tick one box off.
I had a question for Varun on the whole Kohli captaincy and his personality thing. Like, it seemed like last year, this new sort of lovable uncle personality he has, where he's just like giving the team good vibes, it was actually working. I know Faf was the captain, but he and Kohli were like two uncles who get up in the morning and go at 6 a.m. for laughter club. And the younger players seem to like that. Why not have that version of Kohli as captain? Why do you need that?
Did you watch the CSK RCB game, the final game, where supposedly
Well done, Sasha.
and MS Dhoni was reportedly very furious, and the entire team walked off without shaking their hands. Surely that's not the uncle who goes to a laughter club session in the morning.
When Kohli was let go, or when he let go captaincy, it was first time in a long time that it felt like RCB had a new direction. I just think it would be a step backwards again if they went to Kohli, because neither Faf nor Kohli would be the long-term options. But I feel like going back to Kohli would take them at least 3 years back again.
Oh, what? Am I the only one who's really batting for Kohli over here?
I mean, carrying Kohli the batter only.
I think we generally agree that Kohli is a good captain, but A, does he want, and B, will it actually hurt him and the franchise if he were to be retained? So I'm just saying that it's freedom up to also, he's always been confident about his role and what position he wants to bat, and he's always got that. I think last year especially we saw probably was his best year outside of 2016 as a batter, and he helped, and I think that's where Faf really helped him, that you just go and do it and you help me and the leadership, and I'll give you the freedom to choose what you want.
I actually think the bigger impression came from playing under Rohit Sharma, and the Kohli we saw was a Kohli that finally bought into how we wanted a Virat Kohli to play in T20 cricket, and we always knew he had the game, but perhaps there were so many other factors that he was in a position to dictate where he felt like that's not the batter he can afford to be. So RCB had to play around how Kohli was playing. It was only the last season or so that we saw him change things, and that was also buying into what he would do for India to a large degree. But he sees that there is a value in that kind of game, and come the big finals like we saw in the World Cup final, he can play that, that drop anchor 120 strike rate in his sleep now. He's that good. So I don't think there's a question of that. And that's why I think he's a better captain now. This is someone who's invested in RCB. He can make a plan like MS Dhoni did for CSK for a long time. Whether he's 2 years, 3 years as a player, that we don't know. Whatever the big auction might be.
Might I add the question, whoever wants to take this, isn't this a bigger challenge of Virat Kohli's T20 currency as a T20 player or leader, that now the IPL is the only T20 cricket he's going to play? Does that dissuade anyone from making this decision? Because there's no leagues he's going to play.
But there's nothing he needs to prove. He doesn't need to. He's got nothing left to prove. If anything, the only thing he has on his CV that's missing is an IPL win. Forget all the cricketing reasons. I'm just saying, Rohit's not captain. Dhoni's not captain. Gambhir has left the IPL. We need some. RCB. We need some headline-making stories for the IPL. It's getting a bit cold, dare I say.
RCB.
Virat Kohli back.
So essentially, the team that has been scorned so much by the IPL needs to save the image of the IPL. Come on, RCB, can you do it? I'm going to ask the question around the room and see if any answers have changed over the course of this conversation. Should Virat Kohli be RCB captain? Varun Shetty?
No, I don't think his heart would be in it. And I think it would be a backward step in any semblance of a succession plan that RCB has kind of hinted at.
Right, we've got one no and we've got one yes. Ronak, surely.
Absolutely, no doubts. Just announce it, and the brands will come in with even bigger checks and whatnot. So please just do it. Name him.
Justin?
Yeah, if he wants it, I think they should go with him. If he wants it and is motivated.
Okay, 2 yeses. Nagraj?
I'm still like Faf first choice, and if Faf is not retained, then Kohli, yes.
Captain or no, he's still an integral part of the leadership group, so nothing changes on that front. So just put a C next to his name and go into the auction.
Alright, so actually the vote has turned. It's 3 yeses from the run order panel. Ronak, you have yours. The 3 of you are the safest. No, I don't need to vote now. 3-2, we have consensus. And 3 people are safe. To the others, Varun and Nagraj, all the best. The RCB fans are coming to you. This was ESPN Cricinfo.